Hello everyone. How's it going? If I press this, you should now be able to see everything. Hoping, let's see if the stream catches up. I don't have a display for OBS, so I'm watching the stream along with you. Hey, there we are. Marvelous. How's it going? CSNRA 2 deserves to be remade in one engine. I absolutely agree. Hello. So, because of the way that I'm using a program you can get on Steam. It's about £3. It's lossless scaling. Fantastic software for, like, you see the big chunky pixels here, like sharp pixels rather than blurry scaling. It's fantastic for that for all games. I'm not affiliated with them, but I am going to plug them anyway. Fantastic bit of software on Steam. But as a result, on OBS, I have to capture the game with display. So I'm using a PlayStation controller as a stream deck. So the circle button is this screen. Hold on, if I press start as a waiting screen. I go back to this. So you should now see it. Are we back on the game? There's a makeshift stream deck. Sweet. So, let's get started. It is the start of the 22nd anniversary celebration thing the community's doing for Tiberian Sun. So for our stream this weekend, we're going to play some Tib Sun, starting with GDI, and probably do Nod campaign tomorrow, and hopefully do Firestorm next weekend as well. So it should be fun. Right, we'll jump in with this. So the volume is going to be rather low, so you probably can't hear the cutscene. Hopefully the in-game audio is going to be decent enough, but yeah, expect the cutscenes are going to be a bit low. We'll watch them anyway. If TS gets remastered, I hope they fix the control stuff. The great thing about remasters, and it really helped in the Remaster Collection 1, was the additional options for controls, because I, like a lot of C&C fans, grew up with left click to command, but most people are now used to right click. So you kind of need both options in, rather than just going, this is the only option. This is the only thing we're going to go with. Tib Sun's menu music, good for sleep. This game deserves all the attention, one of the best RTS ever made. I entirely agree. I absolutely adore this game. Throsh, the intro sneak peek, I think, just plays the intro cutscene. It doesn't play Sizzle 1.
My judgment is sound, Kane.
Serial modem play.
Perhaps you should be. I've seen the future.
General Solomon, of course, protesting too much by saying he's not afraid of ghosts. If you go to the Tib Sun manual, there's a massive, one of the pages is just a massive printout of Solomon's face with a quote, "I'm not afraid of ghosts," which kind of makes it seem like he is afraid of ghosts, but he's just like fronting to make it seem like he's not afraid of them. There's somewhere else, like on the Tib Sun website or something like that, where he's also asserting that he's not afraid of ghosts. Like, why is Solomon always talking about how unafraid of ghosts he is? On the server, we've got a sticker of Solomon with a big close-up of his face saying, "I'm not afraid of ghosts, honest." Yeah, OpenRA is great for multiplayer. It should definitely be treated as a different game to, you know, DD, RA1 and D2K and the other mods. So it's not like, oh, you want to play Red Alert 1, you've never played it before? Oh, you best play OpenRA. It's a completely different thing. That said, as a multiplayer game unto itself, it is brilliant.
Good to see you again, Mac.
I've moved the chat box over so that it's out of the way of the in-game taskbar, the sidebar, so it should make sense once the gameplay starts.
I'm not losing that base, Mac. I'll give you a squad of our best jump troopers to clear the way for you.
I think Earth and Beyond and maybe Nox might have been in Red Alert 2 or Yori's Revenge or something like that. Maybe. Yes, they use the same gun model from some. I think I heard some other TV show as well. Okay, the chat bar should now make a bit more sense. Right, I have the in-game music muted, so we'll be playing our own playlist of TS music. Nice. So, let me know how the mix of music and in-game audio is. So it should be reasonably low. Things I hate about Tiberian are the 5-unit limit. Being very some of the sounds were very loud in TS. You can alter the 5-unit build queue limit in the .ini. I'm not sure if this was an option in the original game, but at least in the C&C comms freeware version of the game, you absolutely can. Okay, we're going to place you guys over there. Get the ref up first. So one of the key things I remember about TS is harvesting is very, very slow. It takes harvesters an age to get around. I generally play, I get the feeling most people play it, let's see. Faster, I tend to play it fast. So, I don't know, it seems like competitive players tend to play at ludicrously high speeds, but this feels more comfortable. Right, we'll scout around, we've got plenty of rifles here, or light infantry. I'll leave the Wolverines by the gate. Ref, let's go. Barracks. Yeah, sorry. It just feels way too fast. Like, look at this. They're just booking it. Look at that. It's silly. It's just what people are used to, and this feels closer to the general speed of the other C&C games, so it feels a bit more natural. Barracks, so yeah, we can. I think I set the kill to like 30 or something like that. It is literally just change one line in the .ini. And you should be playing the freeware versions anyway. Name of the background music? It should say the bottom left. Yes, it's very dark. I like that about it, to be fair. It's all in, you know, different, everyone has different tastes, but I quite like that about it. Yep. Are you playing without issues on modern computers? So, you want to be playing the freeware version of the game, which is above board. EA have released TD, RA1, and TS as freeware, so it's perfectly fine. The advised version that's linked on C&C Community is from C&C Communications, and that freeware version is it comes with patches, including like DDraw and all sorts of stuff by the community for compatibility with modern machines. So if you want to play the older games, absolutely, that is the best way of getting it. If you're not on the Discord server, link below, we have a setup guide for all the C&C games and the Dune games, which has the links and basically the important stuff you need, like how best to get the game and play the game. So, okay, that activated Siri for some reason. There we go.
Training. Unit
Yeah,
ready.
sorry. What's your favourite C&C game? I used to say Red Alert 2, but I can't really say anymore. I really don't. I'm not sure anymore. So it's between Tib Dawn, RA1, TS, or RA2. I really can't choose anymore. So I'll just say all four of those equally, plus the expansions, obviously. Firestorm and Yuri's are fantastic. Who is stronger, Red Alert, Tanya, or former President? Tanya, obviously. Without question.
Nice job, McNeil.
Did I get a new mic? I have been using this mic for a few months. But if you've been watching my older videos, it is a newish mic, comparatively. This is the Blue... what was it? Blue Yeti X. A really nice mic. You have the channel patrons to thank for that, by the way. I would not have been able to afford it without their help. So give the supporters a big thanks, because it's only because of them that you're able to hear this much better mic than we had before. Easter eggs and secrets of the playthrough? No, I'm a complete casual, and I only play for fun, so I don't know them. Right.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
RO2, Yuri's Revenge, It Wars, Kane's Wrath are favourite. I do really like Kane's Wrath, and the existence of Kane's Wrath and what they did in Kane's Wrath really helped make Tib Wars like retroactively better as well. There were obviously problems with Tib Wars because the games in that era were quite rushed, but a lot of things they did in Kane's Wrath really help with Tib Wars. Actaeon, hey!
New construction options.
ESRA, would you vote remaster or remake? I assume RA2. I would be perfectly happy with a remaster exactly as they did with the first remasters. Like, if I were to remake one of them, it would probably be TS Firestorm over Red Alert 2 Yuri's Revenge. Oh, this music's a bop, isn't it? Shout out to Jared. Come on, you can skirt around. Yeah, but between the two, RA2 Yuri's, I would just go flat out a remaster exactly as done. I'd be fine with that with Tibson as well, but okay with a remaster. But just think about like this style of game where it's you know, kind of sprite and tile based. It just feels different. It feels very sharp and responsive. Like, if you look at 3D RTSs, I'm not bashing 3D RTSs. They are still fantastic. But there's kind of a weird floatiness to the animations. Whereas like this is perfectly readable because of how sharp the pixels are. And it was maintained with the with Remaster Collection 1, with the art style graphics they went with there. There's just some charm about it. I would be absolutely happy and kind of prefer a remaster of these. Remaster or remake Dune 2? We know it's impossible because of licensing, but I might actually go with a remake of Dune 2 just because of how old that game is. You kind of have the remaster already with the fan-made Dune Dynasty, which we played recently on stream, which is definitely the best way of playing Dune 2, I think. But I think Dune 2 might be too old for a remaster. You'd have to revamp a lot of things. And someone, I can't remember who it is, but someone did a fantastic, like, they remade like the menu and the UI as if like, hey, if we were making a Dune 2 remake now, this is what I would make for the UI. And it was glorious. Obviously not an actual game, it was just like an art project they were doing. But I would quite like to see that. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of chat here.
Construction complete.
Well, that's true, yeah, we did get a remaster in Dune 2000. Is Red Alert 3 bad? A lot don't consider it part of the Golden Age. Red Alert 3 is not a bad game. It is of the main series C&C games, if we're excluding C&C4, obviously, I would say Red Alert 3 and Generals are kind of tied for being the least C&C-esque. But people still like Generals. The difference between Generals and RA3 is Generals was trying to be its own thing, whereas RA3 is like, hey, we're the next game continuing from an extant franchise. So there were expectations with Red Alert 3 and Red Alert 2 being one of the most beloved games in the franchise, for good reason. So
Insufficient funds.
Red Alert 3 is liked less, perhaps least in C&C, of the games that are universally considered to be C&C games. I think because it is different. It is too different from what C&C is and should be. It is still a good game. It is still worth playing. It's just don't expect it to be like the other C&C games.
Training. Unit ready.
Rub my boots in lotion.
Unit ready.
An anime or cartoon of Command and Conquer. That'd be quite funny. I'd be happy with that. That'd be quite fun to check out. Unusual, but sure. Yeah, we'll just lob up with infantry, why not?
Unit ready.
Right. Right. You guys go over there. You can come back here. You guys take care of everything. We'll scout with the Wolverine. There's gonna be some stuff up here. Yeah, a lot of my problems with RA3 are to do with it being very micro-intensive. They were definitely trying more so to make a competitive game,
Ready.
whereas C&C isn't really a competitive RTS. It's always been more so about the campaign and stuff like that, more so than multiplayer. Is like, hey, multiplayer is an option, but it's not the core point of the game. If that makes sense.
Ready.
Time bomb sounds way before it's time.
Unit ready.
Faction C&C3 with the Tiberian units. I guess Steel Talons? I think you mean? That's pretty cool when they brought them back. I do like generals, though it's not really C&C in my opinion. I agree with that. Although I'm not a fan of generals, mainly because it is too different for me. I get why people do like it. It is a good game. It's just too different. I would not consider generals to be a C&C game. Yeah, RA3 was made to compete with StarCraft. Oh, there's nothing up here. That's absolutely the reason why it was so different. There are even things in like C&C3 that's like were inspired by other games.
Insufficient funds.
And that was when C&C began to lose a bit of its identity.
Training.
I'm doing that. Right, we need more halves.
Infantry reporting. You got it. Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders.
Get out of here, Soros.
Construction complete.
Awaiting orders.
Worst tips on campaign mission? I couldn't name a single one. Like, I couldn't name one as like, this is the worst one.
Building.
Infantry reporting.
Oh yeah, I've got some Dune 2000 music mixed in this playlist.
Infantry
This is why I don't play the music in the game itself, so you can just mix in other stuff.
Infantry reporting.
PvP ruined C&C, changed my mind. I kind of agree, though I think it was a bit hyperbolic to say it was ruined exactly. But I would also say that saying Proposition X changed my mind is also a logical fallacy. Crucially, why am I getting so many harvesters?
On hold. Cancel. Building.
Infantry reporting.
There we go. Wolverines. Lovely. An NG to rebuild that bridge. Actually, we don't need to, do we? We don't need to.
On hold.
We'll have this as our only route go. The vehicles are a bit like toys in our age. It's a stylistic choice. I kind of get it. I kind of take, like, when you look at this display, I don't think this is in-game we're looking at the actual game world. We are in the game playing as someone who is sitting at a computer looking at a representation of the game world. So when units look toy-like, I get it. That effect doesn't work quite as well with 3D games. Like with this, you can kind of pretend, look, we got health bars, we've got stuff like this, we've got a sidebar and all that, and this is all being seen in universe. We are looking at a terminal in universe, and that kind of impression is a bit more difficult to sell with a 3D game. Have you watched Star Wars? What do you think of it and current Disney's films and projects? Your English is fine, don't worry about it. A massive respect to anyone who speaks multiple languages. Don't apologise for speaking another language, it's fantastic. I have watched Star Wars. I'm not an enormous fan. That's not because I don't think it's a good thing or anything, it's just not something I've got massively into. My favourite film of all time is Star Wars the Third Gathers the Backstroke of the West. Because it's just Shakespeare in space. It is glorious. I don't have a great deal to say about Disney's direction with the modern Star Wars films. I don't really enjoy them as much. I enjoyed 7, I didn't enjoy 8, and so I didn't watch 9. But Rogue One was phenomenal. That's kind of my impression with it. There's a lot to be said about it that kind of doesn't need to be said. There's a lot that you can say that isn't really worth saying. It's just some films. In the modern world. Here we are. Alright, let's just run in. We got this. We got a big enough blob, unless this thing squashes us. I've watched a lot of backstrokes. Phenomenal. We got a second laser? Yes, we have. You first. Would you consider C&C Games Wrath in top 3 or top 5? I mean, if we're not counting them as top 1 joint, like the best C&Cs in my opinion, TD, RA, TS, RA2. We're counting the expansions as the same game. Then I would put C&C 3 as next. Okay, you're just going to run everyone over, so deal with you. Yep, you better run, you punk. Get out of here. So. There we go. So, yeah, I would say whatever order the first 4 games are in, and then C&C 3 / Games Wrath as next. Then RA3, and then Generals. I'm not much of a fan of Generals. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a very good game. It's just not my kind of game. Deployed GIs in RA2 are just a rock wall of machine guns. Tea while we're destroying this. The most classy destruction of a base. Just chugging tea. Lovely. Go on then. Who wants to go? Who wants to go? Who wants to go with my blob? Nice. I was even playing score as well. The most obscure C&C trivia tidbit you know. Ooh, that is a good call. I might have to get back to you on that. Oh, this is the last thing that's preventing us from winning, is it? Just ignore the base of it. I was a bit preoccupied. Yeah, we'll just wait for this. Everyone just map to this. We'll just wait. We can tab out here. Most obscure trivia. I'm not prepared to answer that. I need to think about that. I'm sure I could come up with something. There was that iceberg post that went on the Reddit a while back. Nope, that's not it. What else do we need? What else do we need? Where's the last one? There's going to be one more SAM site somewhere that I've missed. The devs apparently tossed around the idea that General Shepard was able at some point. I have not heard that. Oh, here's one. Seth's name is Uriah Seth, I think. So it's not just Seth. I think this is something I heard from Neogoods in I think the German credits of the first C&C. He's credited not as Seth, but as Uriah Seth.
Silos needed.
Able equals Shepherd, probably do on the nose. Tiberium is in one of the C&C3 expansions. It's also in a Lady Gaga music video, I think. I read that on the wiki. I'm not not poring over pop music videos. Yes, General Solomon's supposed to be the player character in the original C&C. Here it is. That's what we're on. Hey, oi, come back here, Icky sausages. Come on. I'm walking you through the Tiberium for that.
Nod SAM sites destroyed.
Bootleg TD mission where you have to kill the Nod SAM sites. There we go. Is that all? Ah, there we go. There we go. Just need to wait for you to turn up. Come on then, buddy. Echo 5, I'm fine. How are you doing? I don't think Solomon exactly has a villainous edge to him. It's kind of like he's, you know, the desperation of being the general in a massive war like this. What do you think the fans should take off from the fact that Nod and Kane's goals change in almost every game? Especially when it comes to accuracy when making custom campaigns and fanfics. There we go. It's it doesn't change exactly, but well, like it doesn't like completely change, but yeah, there are some differences. Hello. Hello, game. Game, hello. Oh. You saw nothing. You saw nothing. I guess the game crashed. So there's a video that I want to make and I might do after the one I'm currently working. The video I'm currently working on is a 2D Metroid, which I might have out by this time next week, hopefully. But yeah, a video I'd like to make afterwards is to do with the epistemology of fiction. Right, is this actually going to load in? There we go.
Reinforcements have arrived.
We're back in. So yeah, there's what was I going to say? I was going to say a profound thing. It wasn't going to be profound.
Orders received. Unit reporting. Waiting orders received. Sir?
That's thrown me completely. I've forgotten what was going on. All right, let's just scatter around. What was it? Oh yeah, so you need a method, a standard or a goal by which you you interpret the law, and that standard is by necessity subjectively chosen. The standard I go with is I like to I want to be able to play the games and understand what's going on just from gameplay alone as much as possible. Like, for instance, you can have as a standard authorial intent. So you'd say anything that the developers said, anything that, say, Westwood said, or any developer at Westwood said, that is canon. That's still so that's an objective assessment that you're making against a subjectively chosen standard of authorial intent. So it comes down to what that standard is that you're going to go with. And I don't think that's a good standard, because authorial intent changed from game to game. Every single game there were different authors, different intent. Like, even if you check the credits for every for like Tibdawn, RA1, Tibsun, RA2, Renegade, if you check the credits for story or story writer, not one of those games has a single name in common. Even at Westward, authorship changed every single game, every single time. So I don't think that's a good standard to go with, because with each game, the intent changes a bit, because gameplay is the most important thing. We're still making games, not telling a story, the story is secondary. Everything bows to gameplay, that's how it should be. It makes for awkwardness with telling the story, it's like inconsistencies and things like that, but it's the best way to go about it. So I go with, you should be able to understand as much as possible from gameplay alone. So when sources are contradicting one another, you should be able to build an understanding of what's going on in the lore from give priority to what's in game first. So if one of the authors, like one of the developers, someone who worked at Westwood or EALA, says something that is contradicted by something that happens in-game, then the source from in-game is the higher priority source. That's kind of that's my standard. That's what I go with.
Building.
So you kind of have to assess where the source came from, and then go from there. Is any of this making sense, or am I just rambling inanely?
Unit ready.
I swear this makes sense in my head.
Unit ready.
So if you're trying to piece together the lore
Unit ready.
for use in a fan game or whatever,
Ready.
or fan fiction or anything like that, see where the sources come from, and it's like, you know, which source has the higher priority. You have to have a hierarchy of priority for your sources, and then you can kind of piece together where to go from there. Of course, the way that you piece it together depends on your standard, and so you have to set out what standard you go with first. But there's a lot to go in. You say I'm making sense. I think I'm putting everyone to sleep. I need to write this out in a script form and make a video on this, because I have difficulty talking about this off the top of my head. If a dev says something that contradicts an event that happens in-game, the dev probably forgot about what happened in the game, or just hasn't played that much of the game. So,
Yes, sir.
I've seen quotes from Raid, whose surname begins with an S, but I can't pronounce, who was the producer, and I think executive producer, on Tiberian Sun and Firestorm. And he said that Tiberian Sun takes place 30 years after Tib Dawn. And that's been taken by some people as exactly literal,
Ready.
as exactly 30 years have passed,
Insufficient funds.
which means that Tib Dawn must have started in 1997. I would take him as a lower priority source than what's in game, because I get the year of Tib Dawn starting in 2019 from that's sourced from the Renegade Manual, which is a higher priority source though lower than in-game,
Unit.
and the in-game cutscenes from Tib Wars, which are the highest, like the cutscenes are the highest priority for lore.
Sir?
Unit ready.
So I understand, like, if you take as authorial intent as your standard, then unquestionably Tib Dawn took place in around about the year 2000. The C&C timeline sounds confusing. Yes. The point is, I'll say this and we'll leave it at this, because it's just we're going around in circles now. There is no such thing as canon in Command and Conquer. There is no such thing as that. Because if you say for instance, the Lord of the Rings canon, what do you go with? You know, it's whatever Tolkien said. And then if you have the Lord of the Rings film canon, generally it's what Tolkien said, but then also what the film company said. So you have a bit of contrast there. It's a different kind of thing. So different source priority. But with C&C, it is so...
Construction complete.
I don't want to say completely muddled, but there's a lot of moving parts in it. There's a lot of sources. That it's... You can't say there is a single canon, this is it, this is the canon, this is the truth. So you have to start out with a standard and then piece it together from there.
Unit ready.
Right, did I get an engineer?
Training.
Unit ready.
Infantry reporting.
Hulkinson absolutely hated the movie. Really?
Sir?
Sir.
Okay, can we reach you?
Infantry reporting.
I'm not sure we can.
Yes, sir.
That would get another ref because we need more from the halves.
Unit ready. Unit reporting. Unit ready.
Infantry reporting. Yes,
Just
sir.
say Einstein did it.
Sir.
Orders. Sir?
Unit ready.
Pull back. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Orders. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Insufficient funds.
Sir? I'm on it. Sir? I'm taking heavy fire. I'm on it. Sir, I'm on it.
There we go. Okay, cool. Get our light infantry out from here then. We want rockets. We'll mix in a couple of rockets. Why not?
Orders, sir?
Unit ready.
Go.
Unit ready.
Top stuff.
Unit ready.
Get our ref.
Unit
Alright, I missed a lot of chat there when I was rambling on.
ready.
That went on too long.
Unit
You set me up. Who was that? Who was that asked the question? That was your fault.
Unit ready.
This is what I don't get. According to the cover art, the soldiers are armed with M16A1s retired during Vietnam. So yeah, Westwood they just used whatever assets or artwork or models or whatever for the weaponry, and even for the tanks. There's like,
Orders.
it didn't really matter that much that the weapons or the tanks they're showing are anachronous. It was like, we need a picture of a tank. Here's some royalty-free a picture of a tank, or like art from a graphics library of a tank.
Unit
We'll just use this. It's good enough.
Unit reporting. On my way.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Unit reporting.
Infantry
So when people try to piece together what year the game took place based on
Ready.
the year that the tanks in the cameos are from, I can't buy that.
Ready.
Because like there's a much more important real world reason why it's like that. Music! Thank you, I forgot. I have the volume off so it doesn't distract me, so sorry. Thank you, I forgot the music. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, I've mixed in some other stuff that feels Tibsun enough, even if it's not from Tibsun. Infantry spam in TS the best. I love it.
Unit ready.
I'm building up enough of a force before we go and have a look down here. We know what's down here, don't we? Open it up a bit. We can squeeze our enormous blob through here. There we go. Get our war factory up. We can place that here, and then we can actually let's blast him. Let's have a nosy, shall we? I'm the voice of C&C now. Come on, don't overstate it. Don't overstate it. I'm just some nerd. Nice of you to say though. Lore in C&C is whatever you come up with these days. I think as long as you have a good epistemology. I mean, it works I find the C&C lore very interesting because there's a lot that we don't know. And as long as you can speculate reasonably, then it's really, really interesting.
Infantry reporting.
Scrin ship. I love the design of this thing. If you, I don't really play much Ren X because I don't play many multiplayer games. But if you get Ren X, it's a fan-made free game. There's a level of a multiplayer level you can play where you can explore the ship and the area around the ship in first person, and it is glorious. Highly recommend that. Right. Oh, oi, cheeky sausage. The hub, why not? And then we'll just tighten up.
Construction complete.
Unit reporting.
Handling, we didn't get this design again in C&C3. Is the Scrin in C&C3 even the same Scrin though?
Unit ready.
Are they really? Do we know? I'm not sure we do. There are multiple races known as the Scrin. It gets complicated.
Ready.
Waiting orders. Yes, sir.
Or maybe that's my answer for an obscure bit of C&C trivia. The Scrin in C&C3 were originally not going to be called a Scrin except by GDI. So they were misidentified as the Scrin. They were mislabeled as the Scrin when they're not the Scrin. If you haven't seen the video on how was it, on the Tacitus, the Scrin, the Ascended, we go on a bit for a while about how the Scrin are not the Scrin, but they are still the Scrin because we call them the Scrin.
Sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, so this ship was made by Nod, but it is based on Scrin tech. So it was Nod's attempt to reverse engineer Scrin tech. So it was made by Nod, but it still comes from Scrin technology. After doing gameplay, the lines from there sound like we've used. Yes, so Westwood did indeed use the same. They got a lot of sounds, including the early game voice screams, like death screams, from like sound libraries. So the ones used in Dune 2 were also used in Tib Dawn, and then reused in Tib Sun and Tib Wars, which I really liked in Tib Wars when they brought back the old screams, the classic retro death screams from Tib Dawn and Dune. Kane calls them the visitors. I think the rest of Nod call them invaders, but yeah, I think it's just GDI that called them the Scrin. But I think in one of the cutscenes, like in the Scrin like intro cutscene, they were originally going to ask. They originally asked if the humans is this the race known as the Scrin? Said the Scrin to themselves regarding humans. So they don't call themselves a Scrin, but that line was supposedly cut, but it's still in the subtitles in another language in the game. Right, let's send the Titans in first. Oi! That's ruddy cheeky.
Ready.
Waiting orders.
Cheeky sausage. Right, you're getting squashed now.
Insufficient funds.
Right, you guys out of the way for the Titans.
Waiting orders.
Infantry reporting.
Unit ready.
Sir. Unit. No problem. On my way. Unit reporting.
There we go. Out of all the videos you made, which are you the most proud of? That's a good question.
Orders received.
I was extremely proud of the Dune doc. But when the premiere went up, I was like, oh no, there's a bunch of silly editing mistakes that I left in. Like, editing mistakes that were introduced literally at the final moment. Like, I spent about 3 days. Like, this is the final edit. I finished it. It is done. I'll just check for errors. Oh, there's an error. So I go back into the edit. I fix the error. I re-render it. Oh no, there's another error. I'll just fix that. And this cycle continued for about 3 days. Until eventually I was like, I'll just solve it. We're done. This is it. We're done. I use the keys on my keyboard 1 and 2 to zoom in and out of the timeline in edit. So some of the... Oh wait, I'm supposed to capture that, aren't I? Oh, I'm stupid. I didn't save. Oh dear. Sod it. Sod it. I was not paying attention at all. I can't tell you how many times I've done that when I'm playing this mission. You're supposed to capture that with an engineer, not blow it up. We'll skip the next mission. We were almost done anyway. So yes, so some of the text boxes in the Dune dub just have random 1s and 2s at the end of them, because I just accidentally clicked on them and didn't notice. So there are some silly mistakes in that really annoy me. I might be most proud of the Cabal doc, I think. I'm really happy with the Cabal video came out. So maybe that one. Can you read? Not sure you can reach. I guess it's just... We can't leave here. Alright, do we want... Let's just get light infantry. We don't need power plants. We don't need these power plants. Go here, just go here and then attack when you get there. Love it. We don't need that either. We're in an ion storm, we don't need radar. We won't get radar anyway. So yeah, I'm not playing the music in game. I have a second playlist going. So I've got it's all the tips on music and Firestorm music as well. But I've also mixed in some other stuff like Ren, TD, and DGK as well. Another medic for you. Oh god. Only the engineers can save that. Okay. Okay. Back down there. Go there. Alright. Let's call this fine. You think that could be a Tib game set in space? I would like if I were to do a so the video I did on C&C, like if I could redo C&C4, I like the idea of setting it up so that a potential future C&C, like that would conclude the Tiberian saga, you know, properly rather than the way the actual C&C4 did it. And then after that, you know, I would still quite like that to be set up as a potential future for the Tib universe, like GDI becoming the you know, Galactic Defense Initiative or something like that. If you want to reuse, it might even be better just to have a complete fresh break of it. I'm not sure, obviously not realistically, because you know, nothing's going to come out of C&C. We have what we have. We'll just play the old games. Um,
Lost.
but also, that said, I'm not sure if it fits exactly, because C&C is kind of more about, you know, boots on the ground infantry and tanks and stuff like that, rather than, you know, the like, what was that Star Wars one that they did, the Petrovic did? You know, big space battles like that aren't really C&C's thing. You know, the furthest C&C ever got was to the moon. And even that was kind of nuts. Which is fun, but it's more about, you know, armies and tanks. Oi! So I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I'm not sure if it fits C&C exactly. Oh, we got loads of money. We got loads of money. Big grand. GTI versus Scrin in the future. Yeah, exactly. There's a route that you could take with it. Kane will rule the universe. Empire at War, that was it, yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. You just squash it. You just squash the flame tank. Alright. Here's the bikes. Beautiful. Beautiful. There we go. Oh, that's what's attacking. Star Wars and Command & Conquer is in the same universe. Lovely stuff. Hey, you didn't crash this time. The C&C Tiberian open world RPG game. It was a an MMO that was being developed. I think C&C Continuum, the Western was looking into. I'm not sure how well that would have turned out. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to see what it'd be like, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that Command & Conquer exactly lends itself well to an MMO.
Stay alert, people.
Look at the terrain in the back left. It kind of in that shot, the
Technology.
like real camera inside a 3D world kind of, it saw the edge of the scenery, I think.
Bad for a blunt. My name's Umagon, and you better use it.
Would like to have seen Arena come to fruition. So, I mean, what we got kind of was Arena, just with a bad story on top. And if you completely ignore the bad story and skip all the cutscenes and turn the in-game dialogue off, if that's an option, then it basically is Arena, I guess.
In a highly secured medical colony.
Flame Wheel, how's it going?
We don't have the resources to break him out,
Of all the fire type moves,
but you can't find Vega without us.
makes you wonder how an engineer knows how to repair a damaged
Unlike
alien
you
ship.
blunts,
They just do.
the
They
forgotten
just
are full
they
of
just know what they're doing. They're good with that stuff.
I have pinpointed the location of the Nod prison camp.
Soul
A red defensive
Survivor.
towers has been installed around the perimeter.
I'm good, cheers.
If we don't take that array out first, they'll know we're coming. Trados will be killed.
Ava, give us an approach assessment.
Please. So these animations, the bottom right, these two, and I think this one as well. These are, I think SHP sequences in the game files you can actually rip out that are that do have the alpha channel. So I've been using these in the videos because like these are good like little animations you can use.
Establishing battlefield control.
I didn't forget the music this time, and this is a good one. Brother picked my online name, stuck with it for ages. It's why Cyndaquil's my favourite starter, being the first and for a while only Pokemon to use that move. Good call. Okay, what's happened? Okay, I have a mod installed that allows me to access any mission out of order. And when you complete a mission, it sometimes acts really weird. So we'll try that again. Destroy radar array. Let's go. So it's handy for getting footage from like a late game mission, but it does have weird quirks like that. So I wouldn't recommend the mod. There we go. Right, we need to destroy the 3 relay stations. Got it. Not capture them. The Franklin tracks for Tiberian Insurrection. Yes, he did Killing Fields and something else? Or at least he did remake, like he did remixes of those. They were originally someone else's, like, for the mod itself. It must be really cool for that person. But yes, he's done some fantastic music for that mod. Space Echo, that's it. Shall we take this one first?
Gentlemen, this is about combat.
Hello. We don't have any NGs. There's no money anyway. Can we take this out as soon as possible? Frankie did some voice work for AGSA. I don't know what AGSA is. So I haven't heard this. Do you think General should have a spot in the C&C universe? Do you mean causally? As in like its timeline being related in some way to Tiberium and Red Alert? Generals kind of works because there's not too much to the lore. There doesn't need to be. It is what it is. Like, you know, here's a modern world-ish setting. Let's just jump in and blow some stuff up. It doesn't worry too much about the story, and that's fine because it doesn't. Right, we'll move you back. Nice. So it doesn't really need to be expanded on, really. Allied General Shattered Alliance. Oh, it's a mod. Oh, sweet.
On my way. Yes, sir.
That'd be pretty cool then. Let's see how I feel about C&C Rivals. I have, but not in like it was like a freeze frame in an older video. It was like, hey, this is what I think on Rivals. Pause the video if you want to read it. We'll just move on. Rivals would have, like, if the problem with Rivals fundamentally was that it was badly timed. If Rivals had been announced immediately after the remasters, no one would have batted an eye.
Yes, sir.
And this is why I'm happy to kind of talk about C&C4 now as like a bad game, but well, because the problem was this is not C&C. It killed off C&C. But now we've got the remasters, so, you know, don't worry about it. I don't worry about, you know, C&C4 that much. It's just a bad game, don't worry. And likewise, if we're like, okay, here's the next game, C&C Remastered Collection, fantastic. And by the way, we're also doing Rivals on mobile. Whatever, not for me. That's one way of thinking about it. The other way, the problem is it is still a mobile game. It is a free-to-play game, and it is quite egregious. Like, I mean, it's not the worst as like free-to-play mobile games go, but that's not, you know, it's not a glowing recommendation, is it? My problem with it is there was a brief time, like only, you know, 2 weeks or so, where I was kind of semi-addicted to a mobile game. I had never been like that before. I never put money into it. But there was a time where I realized, there was a moment where I realized, hold on, I am scheduling my life around this game because of the way that the timers worked. You had to. I'm going to wait for the medic to heal everyone before we go further. Because of the way that the timers worked, you know, you play this game for a little bit, and then if you play any more, you are now being suboptimal in your playing schedule. And I just had this horrible realization one day that I am scheduling my day around this game, and that is not a nice realization to have. Like, I've played, you know, games basically my entire life since, you know, started Pokemon when I was like 4 or something like that, and I've never been addicted. It never got out of hand. I've always been perfectly fine with it. But then there was this one mobile game. I'll tell you what, it's Fire Emblem Heroes, where it just got worse because of the way that it was set up. And when the moment I realized that, I uninstalled the game. I've never looked back. And my problem with Rivals is it has the exact same, you know, hooks. It works the exact same way. And when I played Rivals for a little bit, because it was like, you know, you've got to play a bit of it to, like, you can't criticize it if you haven't played it, because then you don't know what you're talking about, and that's fair. So like, okay, I've got to play a bit of it. It's free. We'll just go with it. And I felt the exact same hooks in that game, in Rivals, and it felt revolting. So I cannot. This is why I said in the we were chatting before the stream started about, you know, are we going to play the other C&C games? Oh, even C&C4? Yeah, I'll play C&C4 on stream. But that's why I'm not going to be playing Rivals, because it is not an enjoyable game to play because of these hooks in it. They get you to play for longer than you should. Like, that make you you schedule your day around it. So that's my problem primarily with Rivals. Like, I played a bit of Rivals to, like, as I say, to be able to understand what it's like, so I can properly talk about it. And then I stopped playing, and I uninstalled it, and did not look back. And then pretty much the next day, I went and played C&C4 because I needed to get some footage for a video, and it was refreshing playing C&C4 after playing Rivals, because C&C4, it's a bad game, it is a dreadful C&C, but it is a full, complete game that does not require you, does not ask you to put in any more money. And I was shocked by how enjoyable it was in comparison to Rivals. It's still a dreadful C&C game, but there is a game in there, unlike Rivals. So I guess that's kind of where I stand on the matter. Sorry, I missed all the chat while I was talking about that. Refreshing is an amazing word to hear about that game. It genuinely shocked me. I don't enjoy C&C4. Like, literally the last time I played it was when I got footage for a video. But in comparison to Rivals, it's like when you play Pokemon Go and you have a bit of fun, but you realise how difficult it is to do anything in that game. And then you play a regular Pokemon game and it's like, oh, you just go to a store and get some Pokeballs, and now you have loads of Pokeballs. Oh, I don't have money. Oh, I'll just battle a trainer and now I have money. And it's just these things that are simple in, like, a regular game that a mobile game makes intentionally stupidly difficult because they want you to play their way. I didn't need to come up here, did I? There wasn't anything to destroy. So in comparison to C&C4, well, in comparison to Rivals, C&C4 is not that bad. In comparison to literally any other C&C game, including RA3, it's horrendous. But I think there's more nuance there than it's easy to think there is. We need to get that and that, and we've already lost a bunch of fellas. We've still got a medic though. We'll heal up. Oh, that we healed up already. Cool. Nice going, medic. Nice going. Just doing the other round. Alright, fair enough. Okay, we'll send this Titan in first. Tank the hits. Or we'll just attack from a distance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you're in charge of Red Alert 4, would you follow the plot threads established in Uprising? That's a great question. I wouldn't. I would... I'll come back to you with willed height. If I were to do Red Alert 4, I wouldn't follow on. There's definitely interesting stuff you could do if you did follow on. It's not like that's a bad thing. But I wouldn't follow on from Uprising. I would instead go with... So this is... I've been thinking about maybe doing this as a video, but I'm not sure if there's enough to talk about here. If I were to write Red Alert 4, I would actually make... This is going to sound weird. I would make it a reboot of the iPhone game that came out alongside... This will mean about Rivals, if it was announced at the same time as the Remastered Collection. Because when Red Alert 3 came out, at the same time, they also announced a Red Alert for iPhone game. And as a result, no one really minded. Which is fair, because we're still getting Red Alert 3 on PC, and if you have a phone, here's something else you can get, but who cares? And that game was set after Yori's Revenge Allied Victory, but before Red Alert 3. So it was kind of like a weird sort of prequel to Red Alert 3. If I were to do Red Alert 4, that's where I would go. I would set it after... where are you guys going? I would set it after Yori's Revenge Allied Victory. And then have this be about the conflict that we saw the end of at the beginning of Red Alert 3. Okay, we'll just send the infantry guys in. There we go. Because that's interesting. Guys over here. So I was talking about if I could rewrite C&C4, I would have that as we would have the 5 factions: GDI, Nod, Scrin, Cabal, and Forgotten. For Red Alert 4, I would just have Allies and Soviets. I think it worked best when it was just those 2 factions, though Yori as a bonus was pretty cool. I might not have Yori in, like maybe extra, Yori units and stuff like that left over from Red Alert 2 and Yori's Revenge. When we crashed again. There we go. But, so not as a full faction. I think the Red Alert games work best when it's a battle of ideologies between the Allies and the Soviets. So I don't want to overcomplicate it by bringing back the Empire or anything like that. Love Duke, thank you very much. Okay, what are we on? I'll destroy radar array, so we'll rescue Tratos next.
Establishing battlefield control.
Now, if we restart, do we get our... No, we don't get the cutscene. We don't get the cutscene, never mind.
The medical facility is located to the west. We must
Oh,
get
this is a
Tratos out of that
fun
facility.
mission.
But
This
you
is a
might be
fun
settled.
one.
If we're detected, he's as good as dead. Talking to me.
Lovely. I was going to come back to someone. Someone said something. What was the question? Someone asked a question. I've forgotten what it was. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think I liked where Red Alert 3 went. It wasn't the best game, but I kind of like where it went. But for Red Alert 4, I would prefer to kind of go back to where the universe was in the Red Alert 2 era, because that's kind of where it was at its most iconic. And get back to like the kind of older tech mixed in with retro-styled futuristic stuff. That's kind of where Red Alert shines. I love this mission in particular. Heal you up. Yeah, it would be about, the Allies and Soviets in... So the goal at the end of it... So I would actually have this as the first Red Alert game to have both campaigns be canon to one another. So in the same vein as Firestorm and C&C3. Where at the end of it... So the Allies get victory, but you see in the Soviet campaign, when the Soviets fail, their final mission will be to... Did I need it? Very good. Would be to get Einstein's temporal displacement device from Yuri's Revenge and use that to travel back in time. So it would lead in to Red Alert 3. That's what I would do with it. That's what I'd go with that game. Can I blow that up? No. Okay, I think I did need to capture one of those. Can I blow it up with Umagon? Technically, all 4 Uprising campaigns can be considered canon. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm not sure if it's entirely true, but the point is they don't contradict each other, so it does kind of work. Until we know for certain. So this didn't blow anything up. What happened? So those barrels were supposed to blow a hole up here so we can sneak in, but I guess we're not doing that. We can't railgun this. Have we snookered ourselves? Can we do this? Tip of porcupine horse size plus big hooks. They are supposedly horse size, yeah. Like K9S. Like in the Firestorm manual, they're called Canis Tiberius. Although Canis is supposed to be spelled C-A-N-I-S, but it's spelled anus with a C. So I'm not sure if that's right. Why is Ghost Stalker not able to railgun a building? Because he C4s buildings instead. Okay, I might have snooked this.
Okay.
Is this the Tiberian Sun soundtrack? I'm playing an external playlist with something else, so it'll say what it's from in the lower left. You can command fire the railgunner past buildings to damage them. Okay. Well, we still need to get close enough to actually. I'll need to be close enough to C4 it anyway. I guess we'll just do that. Got it. We're good. We're good. We're good. There we go. Told you we're good. Alright, we'll heal you up actually before we go any further. Heal them both up. You could save Yuri at the end of Yuri's Revenge where he's supposedly crushed or eaten by a dinosaur. I love that. That was the Soviet ending though, so that wouldn't be canon with this idea. So Yuri would be in his time prison if that was carried over when the timelines merged, whatever that means.
Give me an order. Okay.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, yes, the petroglyph statement. I forgot what the question was. Thank you. So I don't think I wouldn't read too much into it. Petroglyph saying that they have some projects in development. It could literally be anything. I wouldn't count on it being EA contacting them. It could be any company could have contacted them. It could have been Sega saying, "Hey, do you want to do Universe at War 2?" I wouldn't read too much into it being like, you know, Remaster Collection 2 until we have a definite demonstration that it is Remaster Collection 2. Psychic Prison, he can't mind control or fly there. That was it, yeah. Is Yuri alive in Red Alert 3? I don't know. We have no evidence that he is. Maybe he was just some ordinary guy in that universe. I can barely run the game on my PC, it crashes constantly. Are you talking about Tiberian Sun? It's crashing on my end because I have a mod installed that's a bit bad that I use for getting footage. But when you play a full map, it acts weird. But yeah, the best version of the game is the freeware version with the fan patches from C&C Comms. If you're on the Discord server link below, there is a we do have guides there for there we go.
Give me an order.
Nice. For how to set up the game. Are you gonna? Oh, you're gonna play C4 again, Nana. Healed you up as well.
What do you want?
Time start.
Kill all prisoners.
Okay, timer started. So we need to sneak everyone in.
Yes?
You take care of that fella.
Sir?
Get you there.
Yes. It will be done.
What do you want?
Awaiting orders.
What do you want?
Wait. There we go.
What do you want?
Right here. Unit reporting.
3 minutes remaining.
What do you want?
Enemy on target.
Now, can I run in
Give me an
with the Ghost Stalker and T4 power plant to get these things delivered off? We can try. Yes, we can. Lovely stuff.
Time set.
Here we go. Mission. What? What happened?
Mission failed.
What happened there? Ah, bloody hell. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Yes, let's replay this mission.
Establishing battlefield control.
Ah.
medical facility.
Okay, we'll save before that because it does get a bit awkward there.
What do you want? He's as good as dead. What?
Friendly fire. Really? Really?
What do you want? Give me an order. Okay. Give me an order. What do you want?
I will grab that this time.
Stay low. Already there. Stay low.
Third Raptor, great content. Thank you so much. Ah, you don't worry about it. It's nice of you to say, but don't worry.
Already there.
Umagon died in the end. Okay, I'll try to micro a bit better, but I was not really... I kind of missed what happened there. I was trying to micro something else at the time. Okay, move you back. Ghost Stalker, you get, and you get. Okay, this time we'll run this fella in, and you can blow up the wall.
What do you want?
Unit ready. You got it.
Can you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess we're just not blowing up the bloody wall then.
Give me an order.
Waiting orders.
Give me an order. What? What?
Unit reporting.
We all run in at once. There we go.
Give me an
Then we'll
order.
heal up. I'll blow that up first. Yeah, Red Alert 3 is, as you say, basically a big reboot. And it kind of works like that. The Red Alert games are... They worry less about being linked. Like the story doesn't matter as much in Red Alert. More so than in Generals, though. Is Yuriko Omega related to Yuri? No. I believe there's a video on that someone's made, but I don't think there's any evidence at all other than the name, which is just a reference. If we talk about like Red Alert 3 had a bunch of references like that, like Natasha Volkova, obviously a reference to Volkov. Is she related to Volkov? We have no reason to believe that's the case. It's just an IRL reference. Heal up. Heal up. Lovely stuff. Well done. Oh my god. There we go. Do you think there will someday be a Command & Conquer convention? I don't think so. I think Command & Conquer is way too niche. There used to be IRL meetup things that EA did, but like releases of games and things like that. But no, it's C&C's too cult classic for something like you have to put in a lot of money. That is it going to be warranted? I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
Is Farsis just unlocked?
What do you want? Right. Already there. What?
Okay, we'll save this time.
You talk. Give me.
Time started.
Kill all prisoners.
I saved, don't worry, I got it.
Yes, it will be done.
Clear this stuff out.
It will be done. Yes.
What do you want?
Waiting orders.
What do you want?
Very well.
Sir, I'm waiting orders.
What do you want? I only need one shot.
Okay.
Give me a target.
Give me an order.
Ready.
Are we on our health? You can hang back. We don't need you to complicate things. Nice.
What do you want? Give me an order.
Umagon can wait there, slightly out of the way this time, please. Ghost Stalker, blow up the power plants.
It will be done. Very well.
Nice. Actually, you can rush in, grab Tratos.
Give me a target.
2 minutes remaining.
Waiting order out. Orders received.
Or not.
A target.
Needs to be Umagon. Oh, come on. Come on.
Time
Okay, let's go.
Already there.
construction.
Let's go, nerds.
Okay. Stay low.
This is Lieutenant Stark. We've touched down and are awaiting Tratos for immediate evac. Get him over here. ASAP.
Give me a
We
target.
must get Tratos to the transport.
Give me a target.
What does he say?
Arrows from the sky.
Arrows from the sky. There's your your fourth wall break, because Stratos has his Pentosi, his fourth wall breaking visions essentially.
Okay.
Right, get you nerds over there.
Yes?
Oi, bugger off. Put on super speed. No. We're going to enjoy this waddle over to safety.
What do you want?
Nice.
Very well.
Lovely stuff. Right, as I recall with this mission, we then get an MCV, and then we have to blow up a base. So, because this mission's a bit longer, we'll probably call it after the conclusion of this mission, but we do have a little longer to go. Bork, bork from the doggies. Right.
Yes.
Are we all here?
Unit ready.
That was it. The speed.
Establishing battlefield controls. Stand by. Reinforcements have arrived.
Lovely stuff. Excuse me?
Orders.
What are you...
Waiting orders.
Bloody hell. Alright.
Infantry reporting.
Actually, we're not going to take you back to the base because you're morons.
Sir.
Okay, let's have a scout around. Where is our Tib? We get this.
Waiting
Loud and
orders.
clear.
Unit ready.
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
Waiting orders. Unit ready.
Yes, there it is. So we can
On my way.
plonk the MCV down here.
Unit yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Orders. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Sir.
Reinforcements have arrived. Construction
Waiting orders.
If RA4 is only allies versus Soviets, then how will EA secure the weeb audience?
Got it.
Unit ready. Yes, sir.
New construction
RA4 anime.
building.
There you go.
Orders.
Always love TS the most for atmosphere. Absolutely agree. 100% agree. Villerup Pump and Go is, according to the map, a nod structure. There you go.
Waiting
Loud and clear.
on my way.
Ah,
On my way. On my way. Orders
bit of
received.
Vinifera over here.
Orders received.
Infantry
It doesn't link up anywhere.
loud and clear.
Construction
Loud and
complete.
Oi, oi, oi.
loud and clear. Loud and clear.
No, it doesn't. Okay, good.
Loud and clear.
So we have... Oh, come on. Come on. Ah, okay.
Reinforcements have arrived.
We have a bridge here which is broken, and this is our main entry and exit from the base. You guys are just waddling off. You guys are just walking around in circles.
Waiting orders.
Loud and clear, can't go there.
Infantry reporting.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Orders.
Not much tib down here. Unless it links up down there. Oh, we're alright then. We're alright then.
Reinforcements have arrived. Construction complete.
Infantry reporting.
Oh, it links up. We're good.
Got it.
Okay. That's better. That's a bit closer. 700. Got it. Power plant, and then another ref just to grab those. We can sell the ref off. Make the Swiss the new third faction.
Construction complete.
Yeah. Got it.
Neutral no longer. Switzerland, this time they're pissed off.
Building.
Yeah. Loud and clear. Got it. Loud and clear. Got it. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
More tip over here if we need to expand. How many blossom trees? 3 blossom trees. We should be good for a bit.
Loud and clear.
Harvest is slow enough that that we should be good. like this. Don't want to go too far just yet.
Sir? Yes, sir.
With nods, EV unit since Cabal went nuts, how would you do the voice for it? I like what they did with C&C3. I know there's a lot of things you could do with the voice.
Construction complete.
Excuse me, that is bloody cheeky. Right, I'll keep this here just to get the blue tib, the vinifera, and then sell the ref off when we don't need it anymore. This is ruddy cheeky of you. Oh, you're getting the bridge, never mind. Why would you take that rather than here? Blinking heck, alright. Like, maybe even, so that the male English voice in C&C3 was a decent fit for Nod. I wonder if it maybe was a bit overbearing. There was the female voice in Renegade that was similar to but distinct from Eva. So I guess that was Nod's, because Nod essentially has their own Eva units. I guess it's never explained in the lore, but I assume they reverse engineered an Eva unit for Tib Dawn, we saw in Renegade. But a lot of things could work, really.
Building. Construction.
Swiss, the ultimate villain, they have their rift generator as their super weapon. The large hard-on Kaluda.
Training.
Okay,
Ready.
that will we get. War factory.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Yeah, rogue engineer just thanks for repairing my bridge.
Unit ready.
Decided my base wasn't worth his time.
Unit lost.
Intruder alert. Alert cancelled. Intruder alert. Intruder cancelled.
Insufficient funds.
All intruders, please report to the detention center. Right, so this will make a fourth half, and that'll sort us for the rest of the game, hopefully. It is the fifth mission, fifth or thereabouts, depending on your counter. The reason I was thinking of being the EV unit for PR as a test to see if I can do it. I last did something like that for a dead OpenRA mod called Medieval Warfare, so it'd be cool to see it again. Oh, you were in Medieval. Oh, nice.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Something with a degree of glee. You know, a nod like EVA unit would delight in things being blown up. It's like, it's difficult to explain, but it's like a shard of Schadenfreude. Not too much, because it's still an advisory unit.
Building.
Take the voice from Dune and put it in C&C. Okay, we are good on Wolverines. We can just tighten up from here. Lovely. Right, I'll get a component tower. I don't know if they have Banshees yet.
Construction complete.
They probably don't.
New construction options.
But we don't have the option anyway.
Building. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Well, speaking of Dune, here's some music. Okay. We don't have power things. Not power component things yet. We'll just get another power plant.
Construction complete.
Medics.
Training.
Yes, there's the guard hotkey, but I don't really use it. I'm too old school for these old games. I just click.
Loud and clear.
I don't want to complicate it. I'm too simple.
Insufficient funds.
What is this music doing? It sounds Tib Sun enough, doesn't it? I think I've got Stomp on this soundtrack as well. Tell you what, actually. I'll set Stomp as the next in the queue. Because those who don't know, Stomp was originally a Tib Sun track that was cut and then just reused in Renegade. One of the cutscenes, at least one of the cutscenes, has an early version of Stomp as the background music, which is quite fun.
Training. Unit ready.
There's some brilliant music in Emperor.
Unit reporting.
Like my favorite Emperor music would be a lot of the stuff that Jared did. Jared was fantastic.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Can I drink person wath oo, or is it Eliv Hal? No, you're good. You don't have to be sober to watch. Emperor is quite fun. It feels very, very different while still also feeling like a C&C game. It feels different, but in a different way to how like the EALA games feel different, or how, you know, Generals feels different. It still feels like C&C, but it's weird. I think in a good way. Is worth playing if you can get it running, but it is tricky to get running. If you join the our Discord server, link below, we have a setup guide that includes all the C&C games and all the Dune games. So if you want to play play Emperor or the other Dune games, you can do that. Right, move you out of the way. Bloody hell! Okay, we'll just blob in. Why not?
Unit lost.
Are you just like spinning like we don't want to go that way, we want to go that way.
Insufficient funds.
Very indecisive type. It's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit
There we go. Save these guys. You can head back. Okay, where the... Oh, just... deserve to die then if you're just going to path that way. Okay, we'll just do the damage we can while we're here. Get some enges. Not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
On my way. On my way. No problem. You got it.
A law reason why Russia isn't in C&C General. I don't know about law reasons. I don't. Generals is probably the C&C games I know the least about, just because I'm not really interested in Generals itself. But the real world reason, I guess, is just because there's red alerts. Just try something a bit different, I suppose. Law reason, I really don't know. It could be anything. Generals doesn't really worry that much about law.
Training.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it. Yes, sir. On
Oh my god.
On my way. On my way. Yes, sir. Orders received. No problem.
One bus slightly dated, yeah.
You got it.
It is quite tricky to get running as well.
Yes, sir. On my way.
I'm not sure which is easy to get running, Emperor or Generals, which is weird considering Emperor is abandonware and basically forgotten, while Generals is a very beloved C&C game in some circles. Okay, we can sell you now. Come on, Enges. Give me Enges. I'm gonna capture this blinking thing. Have I played in Minecraft? I have indeed. The first video on this channel was Minecraft. Well, I have been on YouTube for a lot longer than that. Okay. Got it. That's enough Enges. We got enough. Both rails go to get running. Yeah, unfortunately so. We are on a low speed game instead of on 5. This game speed feels closer to the game speed of the other games. So this feels more like default game speed, whereas faster is faster than normal. And I prefer to play basically normal. You are not allowed any more power, Nod Base. Thoughts on the C&C3 novel? It's fun. It's a fun read. It's, consider it non-canon. But, I'm not talking to you, Siri. Oh, when I'm talking, Siri's just like, oh, were you talking to me? No, I wasn't talking to you, Siri. Cheeky sausage. I'm not playing that. Yeah, it's an interesting read. Most of the novel is unfortunately given over to the character who would have been the playable character, the main character in the Tiberian FPS. Ricardo Vega, who for no fucking reason at all was General Vega's nephew or something. But he's not an interesting character, and all of the scenes that he's in are not interesting either. The most interesting parts of the book are where it's given over to the journalist who sees what life is like in a yellow zone. I think the way that the yellow zone was portrayed in the C&C3 novel was a little over, a bit egregious. Definitely very, very interesting. But I think it was more so portraying what could have been a red zone, like borderline yellow to red zone, rather than this is what all yellow zones are like. It's well worth a read, the novel. Just don't consider it to be canon, because it really isn't. But it's fun. There was I don't want to actually spoil it too much in case you read, because this was quite interesting, but there was a scene where the journalist did get to speak to a Nod recruiter who basically went around talking to civilians, trying to recruit them into Nod. I won't go too much into it because it's interesting to read, but I loved how that was portrayed. There's also a scene in one of the battle scenes. A lot of the battle scenes were just like, hey, this is a game about war, so we need to have some war scenes in it. But they don't translate that well to novels. But there was a scene where we did see some noddies talking, like before a battle, about how one of the Nod soldiers had, like, they sometimes get Tiberium laced tattoos. Now, I'm not sure if this makes much sense in the context of C&C whether Nod soldiers would actually do that. Because I know there's a bit of a misconception about how Nod loves everything to do with Tiberium. Like, if you look at Rivals, for instance, one of the Nod generals, I think her name is Jade, is a Tiberium mutant. Whereas in the actual lore, Nod don't like mutants. They're more so about divination, and Tiberium mutants, the Forgotten, are not a good example of that. But it was quite creative. To have like Tiberium-based tattoos that the Nod soldiers get. I did like that idea. A bit silly, but quite fun. We just need to destroy these. How does Tiberium tattoo work? I don't know. I think I explained it a bit, but is basically it's laced with Tiberium, so you have the crystal in your skin and it glows. Yeah, I just need to destroy those. Come on. It was quite inventive. I did like that. I didn't like a lot of the slang was weirdly forced. Like, oh, this is near future, so language changes a bit. The kind of way that the Red Dwarf did with the word smeg, but it didn't feel natural. And I can't think of any examples. It just felt slightly weird. I think the book also has a different slang word for a Nod support. I'm like, well, we ought to call them Noddies. Nod heads, that was it. So GDI's slang for a Nod soldier is a Nod head. Like, well, no, we call them Noddies, don't we?
He's still out.
So it kind of tried to invent some slang that didn't really make that much sense.
Do you love nothing?
I love to win.
And the swearing was weirdly English. Weirdly British, whereas they're supposedly American characters, and I thought the author was American? Maybe I'm wrong on that? It's not contradictory because they didn't want to become Tiberian mutants, they were after divination. And we don't know what that is, really. The hunt for the last Samsites, yeah. Noddy squaddies.
Vegas base is 760 clicks south.
Who's your favourite evil AI? Cabal, GLaDOS, HAL 9000, Shodan, Skynet, or AM? I've not heard of AM. Right. Oh, you didn't list. Oh, if you had listed, I would have gone with Cabal because I love the lore behind Cabal. Of the ones you listed, I think GLaDOS is the most. Oh, you did list Cabal. I missed that. Seriously, I forgot you listed Cabal because it's lowercase. It would be Cabal then. I was going to say GLaDOS because GLaDOS is quite interesting, and I like how GLaDOS' character developed in Portal 2.
The Nod.
Right. I am going to call it here, I think, because we have gone for a little while, and it's oh, blinking hell, 2 hours. I didn't realise how long we've been going for. AM is from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Ah, okay. Does McNeil die during the intro of Firestorm, as it is implied? I would say yes, because the only evidence we have to the contrary is the Tiberium FPS, which is non-canon because it was never released. And that game was set to do some weird things with the lore, I think. So it is authorial intent that he was set to die in Firestorm. And I don't really take authorial intent as that much of a high priority. But it's strongly implied in the lore, and there's nothing to contradict it apart from non-canon. So the very low priority of authorial intent and developers say so of him dying in Firestorm is a higher priority than Tib FPS, which is non-canon anyway. So, was he in the book? I can't remember. It's been a while since I read. I've actually got the book. Okay, hold on. You can't see because I don't have a webcam, but I have a physical the physical book, the Command and Conquer Tiberian Wars book. Where is it? Signed by Keith DeCandido himself on one of the front pages, which was really quite fun to get. It's worth reading. It's not great if you're coming at it specifically from the canon, from the lore. It's worth a read because it's interesting. The Ricano Vega scenes and the fight scenes between GDI and Nod, not that interesting, but they kind of had to do it because it's a novel based on a war game, so you have to have some fighting. But the most interesting parts are the scenes with the journalist in a yellow zone. You can get the book on Kindle, I think, digitally. It is an interesting read. That's pretty good. Didn't GDI have multiple Kodiaks? I think the Kodiak is the name of the ship that McNeil had. So I think they only had the one Kodiak. But they did have multiple of the same class of ship as the Kodiak, which I think it was just called like, command ship. So they did have multiple of those, but I think there was only one Kodiak. The C&C comic. Oh, the Tib Wars comic. I think that's less good. We joke about it on the Discord server. There's some interesting stuff in that. Orca Command, that's it, yes. So there's only one Kodiak, but there are other ships of the same class as the Kodiak. There we go. Umagon said divination is death and that Kane was using them. Maybe she was right. Naturally, Oksana rebutted with only for the weak. So I'm not sure if divination was actually just a false flag that Kane was using to get his followers to follow, to do what he needed, which was to attract the Scrin. I'm taking this, however, as accepting C&C3 and Kane's Wrath as part of it. So this is retroactively applying intent from the later game, where it appears that Ascension was his plan all along. So this is what I mean about epistemology. If you take Tiberian Sun as a standalone, if you take it unto itself, then obviously this is not the case. But if you take the entire franchise and take later games to view earlier games from a different perspective with a different lens, and it does kind of look a bit like divination was a bit of a false flag. So I'm not entirely certain on that. It's difficult to pin it down. It's interesting to think about, but I'm kind of cautious about saying things definitively with regards to things like that, where we just kind of don't really know. Right, yes. So how's it go with that? Because that was quite interesting. Right, we are going to call it there for today. I'm hoping to do another one of these streams tomorrow, or well, we'll do basically the same again, but with a Nod campaign. And then next weekend, because I'm trying to do these streams every weekend, next weekend we can do Firestorm through GDI Nod. I would love to get to Dogma Day afternoon in the GDI campaign, because I love that mission. But I've really enjoyed this. I hope you have too. Airhey/RTT, thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed it. Love how after Tibson, Tratos gets assassinated, Umagon goes insane, and McNeil and his crew and the Kodiak get killed. Not gonna lie. As a Nod fan, I utterly love how Firestorm did this. Slavic really shined in Firestorm as well, I think. I think the mystery of divination is the best part. Absolutely, yeah. A lot of why the lore is interesting is because we don't know a lot of these things. And why C&C4 wasn't interesting in the way that it concluded was because it was too obtuse with the things it brought up. Okay, this stream is never going to end. We're just going to keep chatting. I'm just enjoying this. Right, thank you so much for watching. We're going to call it here. I'm going to press triangle on the PlayStation controller. And there we go. Lovely stuff. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. Oh, and the video that's currently in edit Hopefully we should have that out by next weekend. This is a video on the 2D Metroid games. We'll get back to C&C lore after that, but I wanted to talk about Metroid for quite a while. So hope you look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone!